right, Steve. Welcome back to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast Friday at 4 series. How are you?
I'm excited. I love these Fridays. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I know we had a quick text earlier and
Yeah.
we kind of covered a little bit what we want to talk about. So go ahead and let's get started and go ahead and let's talk about
All
what
right.
we want to discuss this Friday.
Sure. So, for those who have never seen this before, this is just two guys, um, unpaid, unscripted, giving you the real down and dirty according to how we see the world. So this is real life. There's no paid sponsors giving us their opinions. This is just us. So thank you. So just to let that
Raw and
off the top.
unscripted. Yeah.
So I love the unscripted. It's great. So you can say what
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah, me too. I
Um,
like because we just talk. It's
yeah,
not like it's a podcast interview that I do where we
no,
talk about the set questions and this is just it's open mic and we talk. Love it.
yeah, yeah. So for this week, let me preface it this way. So I've worked a long time, and throughout most of my career, you, whether you're typically an employee, you go to the office and you work whatever hours are required, some more, some less, whatever, but you work the hours in the office. Then this thing called the pandemic came along and the dynamic changed. So for a couple of years, people were not allowed to go back to the office. In a couple of cases, yeah, you had to be there, you wore masks, you did your thing, but you really stayed home. And that whole work from home model came along.
Yeah.
So some companies came along and said, you can work from home and we pretty much trust you as long as the end result gets done. Whatever that end result is, whatever you're doing,
Whatever
as
that
long as it
result
gets
is.
done, you're
Yeah.
fine. Other companies, because my background was IT for 30 plus years, I know for a fact that many large companies, when you sign on to work for them as an employee, they own the phone. They own your computer. Whether you use yours or theirs, they track, and they do, your phone call, how many phone calls, the numbers you're dialing in and out, how long the calls are. And they do track this because I know this because I had an issue way back when with an employee.
Yeah.
Um, when it comes to your computer, they know when you log in. They know how long you're on, what websites. They know this stuff. So many companies said, okay, it's the pandemic and you can work from home. But again, as long as that end result gets done within the time frame allotted, they don't care. Some did. They were real, I don't even want to use the
Yeah.
word,
There were
but
definitely some
most,
challenges with that, right?
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
most said as long as you get the stuff done, we're good. And all was great. But what's been happening over the last, I don't know, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, more and more big companies are now saying to employees, return to office, the RTO. And I see that more and more. Now, some companies are doing that because they own or lease large amounts of space. And with the work from home, they're paying that rent, but you're home.
Yeah.
So they want those people back. Um, Another reason is the insecurity of what are you really doing when you're home? Because now they're
Yeah.
afraid of saying, "Oh, Charles is one of my employees. He's home. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
know what he's doing. I don't know where he is. He could be on his cell phone from the beach. He could have his laptop. He lives
Sitting
in
at the
New York.
bar.
He could have his laptop in Florida. Who knows where he is?"
Yeah.
So they want you back. It's a control issue. So, in my opinion, instead of doing the smart thing, again, my opinion, instead of doing the smart thing and saying, you know what, Charles is my employee. I trust him. He's doing a good job. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Let him do his thing. He's producing, he's getting the work done. My clients are happy with the work he's doing, with the time frame he's getting it done in. Leave him alone. Let him do
Yeah.
his thing.
Yeah.
But many corporate executives are sitting there saying, no, Charles is not the main man. I'm the main man. Not
Yeah.
me, the executive, not me.
The
The executive,
executive. Yeah.
right?
Right.
Just want to clarify that, okay?
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
executive is the main man.
Yeah.
Now, I was fairly high up in a number of organizations. And again, my opinion, if you're up at the top or up in that top segment, you get the longer you're up there, you tend to get away from reality. And the longer you're there, whatever else, it just gets worse. And when you're
Yeah.
up top and you're now saying to the people on the bottom who are doing the work, come back to the office, also known as I don't trust you, what message are you sending
Yeah.
to the employees who are doing the work? Who, by the way, if you forget the work they're doing, pays your salary and bonus. Did you forget that piece? I guess it's a
Exactly.
sarcastic comment, but that's how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
and again,
Absolutely.
that's why this is real and unscripted. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I want to let our viewers know on TikTok, because we're here live on TikTok as well.
Oh,
And I want
cool.
to let our viewers know on TikTok that we're talking about returning to the office if you work for a corporate or any company that you work from home for some time. We're talking about returning to the office and how you feel about that. So, feel free to comment, reach out to us, let us know how you feel, your thoughts about returning back to the office, because that's what we're discussing right now. So go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. So, I'll give you a classic example, and this is real time. My daughter comes home yesterday and she works for a company and she comes home yesterday and says somebody that she knows during COVID went to work for a company at whatever company position, doesn't matter, went to work for a company, and the contract that this person signed said this job function is a work from home function now and forever.
Oh,
That's
wow.
what the contract said. The company signed it. She signed it. Now she lived in New York, work from home, go any way you want.
Yeah.
So she picked up her family and they moved across somewhere across the country. She just got a notice the other day that said, you have to come back to the office.
Mm,
Now she's caught.
yeah.
She has the letter. It's been years. COVID is long over. She's had this letter and she moved based on the
Yeah.
letter. Now they want her back. Does she come back? Doesn't she come back? So she's in that position right now where she has to get an attorney.
Wow.
And she's
And that's unfortunate, right?
probably,
Because like you said, she has the letter. They told her it's forever. You don't have to worry about coming back to the office. You can remote anywhere you want, anytime. We're good. And now all of a sudden you get this, hey, we need you to come back. That's unfortunate.
it's unfortunate, but again, it comes back to why can't a company, because we all know real estate right now, I should say, the real estate industry right now is hurting big time, because I have a real estate license as well. And the residential side is tight because people aren't selling, so nobody can buy. But on the commercial side, there is more and more open, unused property. And more is coming on the market every day because people can't afford it. They're folding up.
Yeah.
So if you're a business and you have whatever space you have, and you know your employees are not there,
Yeah.
why can't you, as your contracts come due, either renegotiate down or downsize and leave the employees alone
Yeah.
and let
What
them
we're
work from
seeing
home?
though, yeah. And what we're seeing though is a lot of these properties, when they're renegotiating, they're negotiating up. So you have a lot of companies who are leaving these leases in these buildings because they
Correct.
can't afford it. I know when it's local here, a pizza shop, the roof caved in on the
Mm,
building. He had to move out, right? He got out of the place for a while. They were going to fix it so he could get back to work. And the guy's been there for years.
mm.
Landlord said, I'll fix it, but I'm going to double your rent. So he completely moved out and moved on, you know?
I still say, and one of my friends is a commercial real estate agent in New York City. And a couple of years ago, when COVID first hit, he made a fortune because what he did was he would approach company X and he would work with them for a fee to go to the landlord and renegotiate down.
Yeah,
And he was extremely successful because landlords saw what was coming and
right,
they said, I have a 50-story building and it's full. But with COVID, it's now 10% full.
right.
I'm losing money.
Yep,
So the smart landlords, again, financials given, but a lot of the smarter landlords said, you know what? I'll reduce your rent by 25%. Just stay here because
right.
some money is better than no money on a rent.
Sure. And here's the thing that I'm seeing locally is that what is the drive to have people come back to the office if their lease for these buildings has raised over the past, say, 3 or 4 years since COVID has cleared, right? So now we're seeing that these companies are wanting you to come back to work. So are they saying, hey, we're paying for an empty building. You need to come back and fill it because we need
Right,
employees here? Or
right.
is it that, it's 10%, we want it back to 100% capacity just because we were here, we just want to continue what we were doing? So there's two sides to this, right? We're seeing part of come back because we want you to, we don't trust you, come back because it monetarily makes sense for the business because we're paying for this property, these leases for 10, 20, whatever, how many years, come back, put your butt in the seat, we need you here.
There's also a hybrid solution.
Yeah.
The hybrid solution says take less space, write it off. Some landlords are even saying you have 2 years left on your lease. Pay me 1 year and I'll let you off the other second year.
Mhm.
So the business owner saves that second year of rent.
Yeah.
Or if it's the end of the lease, then cut your space requirements, go from 5 floors or 6 floors down to three.
Yeah.
Then what you say to the staff is, we're going to do a hybrid work model. And on a rotating basis, you come into the office 1 day a week, 2 days a week, rotating.
Yeah.
So you have less space and it becomes like a shared space model.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so the company gets what they want, which is less rent expense. They
Hmm.
get the employees back part-time, and the employees get what they want because it's still a work from home for 3 days, 4 days a week. So
Yeah.
everybody wins in that case. And I'm okay with that model.
Yeah.
But
Something I thought about too was why not reach out to entrepreneurs like us and say, hey, we want to rent you an office space, a
right,
room,
right.
$100 a month, $200 a month, whatever,
Yeah.
just to fill a
Mhm.
corner, an
Right,
office, whatever, suite,
right.
whatever. You're going to
Yep.
get some money coming in. You have some money in there that we're paying to
Mhm.
you to run
Yeah.
our business.
Yes.
I know the
Right.
company I worked for years, every time I drive by there, their entire campus is empty. We're talking 3-story building and one, two, three, four other office buildings that are completely empty,
Wow.
gone. and they're all virtual.
Wow.
From a company who said they would never go virtual, they are virtual. It's amazing.
What I have seen, and I don't know how wide it's going to get, I've seen a lot of businesses who, again, empty floors, who are converting them into shared space.
Mhm.
So if you have a business and you need to have an in-person meeting, rent that space for an hour, 2 hours, have a meeting.
Yeah.
There's a company called Regis. I don't know if you know, and I'm sure there's more of them,
Mhm.
but it's the same thing. In here, not far from where I live, they have an entire floor in a building, and it's all broken down into different size, smaller offices, 2 person, 3 person, 4 person, 10 person
Right.
conference room. And if you need, you rent by the hour.
Right.
And that's what people are doing. So if you can't do something over internet or over Zoom and you have to be in person,
Right.
an attorney, CPA, whoever that has to have physical paper signed, not through DocuSign,
Yeah.
then but how many of those do you need?
Yeah.
That's the issue too.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that. So back in 2015, when I built the app I was working on, we actually met with a one app developer in Silver Spring, Maryland, who actually did that. The office we went to was a virtual office, and we had our meeting in a room that he rented out, which I thought was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah,
But you could tell when you walked in, it wasn't his office. Nothing was hooked up.
right,
He
right,
plugged
right.
his laptop in. And he's showing us his database. But you could tell. But
Yeah,
I would be a little more professional and say, look, let me set this up so it looks like it's my office. Some
right, right,
flowers and
right, right.
different things there to make it look presentable. But I guess we caught him off guard because he wanted that money. He wanted me to build my app for him. But I could tell that it was a virtual meeting space. And those are few and far between,
Very well.
locally to here where I live in Maryland.
Mm.
But I do know that they exist,
Yeah, they do.
and that's such
They
a great
do.
idea, right? If these companies own a 50-story building and
Mm.
you're only in, a quarter of it and you have 3 quarters available, why not set up a floor for virtual
Right,
for
right.
people for like us who could come in and just spend time there a day, a week, a month, or
Mhm.
6 months or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, great idea.
yeah.
Yep.
The other thing that I know is popular for a while, and I don't know where it is today, is to take a lot of these, and I'm talking about New York City,
Yeah.
take a lot of these office buildings, and if you can get zoning changes, make them a split commercial residential.
Mm,
So it does take some money to renovate a floor, and you have to make sure the windows and electricity and plumbing and all that stuff. But if you invest some money, because there is such a shortage of housing, make apartments,
yeah. Yeah.
make affordable apartments for people, and renovate whole floors at a time. The
Right.
infrastructure is there.
Yep.
And if you put a grocery store, a dry cleaners, a bank branch, stuff in the lobby, put a
Yeah.
gym in with a paid membership, stuff
Yeah.
like that that will keep people in the building. You can generate revenue that way too. And this way
Generate
the
revenue.
building is not fully empty.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So final thoughts on how you feel about this return to work, return to the office.
My Okay, I got spoiled because this is definitely a biased answer. No, I'm telling you upfront, it's a biased answer.
Yeah.
I got spoiled from 32 years in corporate to being an entrepreneur, working from home 99% of the time. So my biased answer to your question of what's my thoughts on a return to work initiative, I'm saying to companies, let people stay home.
Yeah.
Let them stay
Yeah.
home. Trust them. Let them stay home.
Yeah. I agree. If you trust them, let them stay home. They're good employees, or they're working
Right,
good for you. They're your
right,
top 10%. If you got the outliers, that low-hanging fruit that need that attention, force
mhm,
them in, bring them in.
yeah, right,
When they prove that they are worthy of homework, then you
Mhm.
can again do the hybrid. All
Right.
right, now you can go
Right.
home a day, here 4. Now you can go home 2 days, here 3.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and keep it
Right.
going until they prove themselves. I'm all for
Mhm.
that. You know,
Yeah, I
but
am.
yeah, there's definitely a big debate that, as we talked about, I showed you the article. You know, I'm glad we had this conversation because it
Mhm.
definitely it's sparking some interest out there, and even in the big corporate world, you know, about they want people back in the office. They
They
want that
do.
accountability. You
They
know,
want the accountability. They
yeah,
don't want the empty floors.
yep,
Trust your employees. They're the ones who
yeah.
can make or break you. And if you're doing what I think is the wrong thing, it's going to come back and bite you.
It
It's
will
going
come
to.
back. Absolutely, it always does. You know,
Yep.
all the people who never use Zoom for the first time and they're doing some crazy things and they're forgetting to turn off their camera and they're still recording and it was a mess. But no, I think most of the people are
Yeah.
catching on and doing pretty good with it now.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Steve, great conversation. Appreciate it.
Yeah. No, my
Definitely
pleasure.
loved it.
Had a good
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. Yeah. So thanks for coming on again and
Okay.
your Friday at 4 podcast series because
It's 4 o'clock somewhere.
gotta love it, buddy.
Yep.
Steve,
All
have a
right.
great evening. We'll talk
You
soon,
too.
man.
You too,
Enjoy the
Charles.
weekend, buddy.
Thanks. You
See you.
too. Take care. Bye.
Thanks.